What if the loneliness you feel right now has nothing to do with being alone? What if everything you were taught about loneliness, everything you believed your whole life, was quietly, gently wrong? Stay with me, because what I'm about to share with you changed everything for me. And I think, deep in your heart, you already know this truth. You've just never heard anyone say it out loud. My dear friend, if you are over 60 and some nights the silence feels so heavy it presses against your chest, if you reach for your phone and then put it down again because you don't want to bother anyone, if you sit by the window and watch the world moving past and feel somehow like you are watching it from behind glass, then I want you to know something. I see you. Not just the version of you that smiles at the grandchildren or nods along at family dinners. I see the one who lies awake at 3 in the morning, wondering how it got so quiet. The one who sometimes talks to a photograph. The one who used to have a house full of noise and laughter, and now the echo of all that living feels louder than anything. I see that person, and I want to sit with them for a little while today, because you are not broken, you are not forgotten, and you are, without question, not alone, even though every single nerve in your body may be telling you otherwise right now. We've lived long enough to know that life comes in seasons, and this season, this quieter, slower, sometimes achingly still season, does not have to be a season of suffering. Buddhism has known this for over 2,000 years, and today you and I are going to discover it together. Let me be honest with you first. When I say loneliness, I don't just mean the kind where the house is empty. I mean the deeper kind. The kind that can sit right next to you while someone else is in the room. The kind that follows you to family gatherings and holidays and birthday parties where everyone is laughing and still somehow you feel invisible. That loneliness is different. It's not about people. It's not about phone calls. It's not even about fear, really. It's about something much closer to home. The Buddha once said something that stopped me completely the first time I truly understood it. He said, and I'm paraphrasing gently here, that all suffering comes not from the world around us, but from the stories we carry inside us. Think about that for a moment. Not the world, the stories. The story that says, I am no longer needed. The story that says, my best days are behind me. The story that says, everyone is busy living their life and I am just waiting. Those stories, my friend, are the true source of loneliness. And here is the astonishing, beautiful, quietly revolutionary truth that Buddhism teaches us. We can change the story at any age, at any moment, even now. There are 7 things, 7 quiet thieves, I like to call them, that creep into our lives after 60 and steal our peace. They don't announce themselves, they don't knock on the door, they just settle in, like dust, like silence. Until one day we look around and realize our joy has slowly been taken from us. Today, you and I are going to name them, one by one, and then, gently together, we are going to let them go. The first quiet thief is this: the belief that connection requires other people. My dear friend, I want you to really hear this one. We grew up in a world that told us connection means people, more connection. Phone calls, visits, grandchildren running through the hall. And yes, those things are wonderful, truly. But when those things become less frequent, when the calls get shorter and the visits get rarer, we start to believe that connection itself is fading. And that belief, that is the thief. Because Buddhism teaches something so simple, it almost sounds too small to be true. It teaches that connection is not something we receive from others. It is something we access within ourselves. Have you ever sat in a garden or by a window with the light coming through and felt, just for a moment, that you were not alone? That something larger than yourself was present? That feeling, that quiet, warm, inexplicable feeling, that is real connection. That is you touching something ancient and alive that lives in every single thing around you. The Buddhists call it interbeing, the idea that nothing exists in isolation, that you and I, the trees, the morning light, the cup of tea going cool in your hands, we are all woven from the same thread. You are not separate from life, my friend. You are life. You cannot be disconnected from it. When I first truly understood this, not just heard it, but felt it in my bones, I was sitting alone on a very ordinary afternoon. The phone hadn't rung in days, the house was quiet, and I remember thinking, this is it. This is what lonely is. And then something shifted. I looked at the light on the wall, just ordinary afternoon light, and I thought, this same light touched the Buddha. This same light touched everyone who ever lived and ever loved. And in that strange, quiet moment, I did not feel alone anymore. That's the first thief, and now that you can see it, it has lost some of its power over you. The second quiet thief is carrying grief we were never given permission to set down. At our age, we have lost things. Oh, how we have lost things. People we loved with our whole heart, roles that defined us, a body that moved differently, a version of life we had planned, carefully, lovingly planned, that went somewhere else entirely. And here is what no one tells you about grief after 60. It layers. Each new loss sits on top of the old ones. And after a while, you're not just grieving what's gone now, you're grieving everything, all at once, all the time. And it becomes so heavy that it starts to feel like who you are. Like loneliness is your permanent address. Buddhism doesn't ask us to pretend that grief isn't real. Please hear that. The Buddha himself wept. The teachings don't say, don't feel sad. They say something far more compassionate. They say, feel it fully and then let the river move. Grief is not a wall, my friend. It is a river, and rivers move. There is a beautiful Buddhist practice called the metta meditation, the loving kindness meditation. And one of the most powerful things about it is that it begins not with sending love outward, but with receiving it yourself. You say, silently, to your own heart, may I be happy, may I be peaceful, may I be free from suffering. I want you to try this. Right now, as you listen, just quietly, in your own heart, say those words to yourself. May I be happy, may I be peaceful, may I be free from suffering. Did you feel something? Even something small? That small thing is the beginning of everything. The third quiet thief is comparison. Oh, this one is particularly cruel when we are older, because we don't just compare ourselves to others around us. We compare ourselves to who we used to be. I used to be stronger. I used to be faster. I used to be needed. I used to be the one everyone called. My dear friend, that version of you was real and beautiful and worthy of all the love you gave them. But clinging to them, like holding a photograph and wishing it could move, only makes the present moment feel like a lesser place to be. Buddhism speaks beautifully about something called impermanence, anicca, the teaching that everything changes, everything, without exception, and that this is not a tragedy, it is the very nature of life. The flower does not grieve when it becomes fruit. The season does not mourn when it becomes the next season. We live in a culture that treats aging like a loss of value. That is not a truth, it is a story, and a very unkind one. Here is the truth. The version of you that exists right now, at this age, with these hands, these memories, this depth of lived experience, this version of you has a richness that no younger version of you could have possessed. You have survived things, you have learned things, you have loved through loss, and lost through love. You carry wisdom in your very cells. Don't compare that to anything. There is nothing to compare it to. The fourth quiet thief, and this one is so quiet you may not have noticed it, is the habit of waiting. Waiting for someone to call. Waiting for life to get better. Waiting for things to go back to the way they were. Waiting to feel less lonely before you do the things that bring you joy. The Buddha taught that the present moment is the only home we truly have. Not the past, though we love it, not the future, though we hope for it. This moment, right now, the breath you are taking as I speak these words, this is your life happening right now. And if we spend it waiting, we miss it entirely. My dear friend, there is something I want to ask you, and I want you to sit with it gently, without judgment, just curiosity. What is one small thing that used to bring you joy, that you have stopped doing, not because you couldn't, but because somehow, without ever making a decision, you just stopped? Maybe it was tending a garden, walking a certain path, reading poetry, baking something you love, sitting in a particular chair in the afternoon light, painting, praying, humming a song while you worked. Whatever that thing is, it is waiting for you. It never left. And you don't need anyone else to bring it back to you. You only need to begin. Because joy, real, deep Buddhist joy, does not come from outside us. It is not delivered by other people. It rises up from within when we stop waiting and start living the small moments with our whole heart. The fifth quiet thief is something many people after 60 carry in silence because they feel ashamed of it. And I want you to know, you have absolutely no reason to be ashamed. The fifth thief is the feeling that you are a burden. Oh, my friend, how many times have you held back a need because you didn't want to bother someone? How many times have you said, "I'm fine," when you weren't? How many times have you sat alone rather than ask because you were afraid of being too much? This is perhaps the cruelest thief of all, because it takes your most human, most beautiful impulse, your love for others, your desire not to cause trouble, and turns it into a prison. Buddhism teaches us about the web of interdependence, the idea that we are all of us, giving and receiving, constantly, in ways we cannot even see. The air you breathe was given by a tree. The food you eat was touched by 20 hands before yours. The kindness you showed someone decades ago is still rippling outward in ways you will never know. You are not a burden, my friend. You are part of the web, and webs need every thread. Let me tell you something. The people who love you, truly love you, do not see a burden when they look at you. They see the person who taught them something, held them once, loved them when they were small or lost or frightened. They see someone irreplaceable. And here is the other truth. Allowing yourself to receive love, to accept help, to ask for company, to admit that you are lonely sometimes, that is not weakness. That is extraordinary courage. That is the kind of honesty that brings people closer. You are allowed to need people, my friend. You are allowed to reach out. That reaching is not weakness. It is a gift you give them. The sixth quiet thief is the disconnection from something larger than ourselves. Whatever you call it, God, the universe, nature, the great mystery, there is something that humans across every culture, every era, every corner of the earth have always known. We are not here alone. We are held by something. After 60, many people find that the formal structures that used to hold this connection, the church, the community, the shared rituals, have faded or changed, and without them there is sometimes a feeling of floating, of being spiritually unmoored. Buddhism offers something both ancient and immediately accessible. It says, the sacred is not in the building. It is not in the ritual alone. It is in this breath, this moment, this awareness, the capacity you have right now to notice that you are alive. There is a practice called mindfulness, and I know you may have heard that word many times, but strip away all the modern noise around it, and here is what it truly is. It is paying attention. It is sitting with a cup of tea and really tasting it. It is watching the morning come and feeling, truly feeling, that you are witnessing a miracle. The Buddha walked slowly. He touched the earth with each step as if it were sacred ground, because it is. Every step on this earth is sacred, including yours. including the steps you take from your bedroom to your kitchen on a quiet morning when no one is watching. You are not alone when you are connected to the living world around you, and it is always, always there, waiting for you to notice it. The seventh quiet thief, the last one, and perhaps the most important. The seventh thief is the belief that it is too late. Too late to change, too late to find peace, too late to feel alive, too late to be happy in a new way. My dear friend, I want to tell you about a woman I read about once. She began learning to paint at 73. She said she had always wanted to, but life kept moving. Her paintings were simple at first. Windows, bowls of fruit, a cat on a step, but she kept at it. By 78, she had shown her paintings at a small local exhibition. She cried when people said her work moved them. She said afterwards, "I thought I was too late. Now I know there is no such thing." There is no such thing as too late, my friend. The Buddha's teachings did not come with an age requirement. Enlightenment, peace, true peace, has no minimum and no maximum. The people who found the deepest peace in the Buddhist tradition were often people who had lived deeply, suffered deeply, and arrived at wisdom precisely because of all that living and suffering. You are not too late. You are, in fact, exactly on time. Now I want to share something with you, something personal. There was a period in my life, I will not say exactly when, because some things belong to the quiet, when I understood what it was to feel truly alone, not just in a room, but in my own skin, in my own life. I would look at the days stretching ahead and feel nothing, not sadness exactly. Worse than sadness, an emptiness. And it was in that emptiness that I found Buddhism. Not in a temple, not in a book at first, but in a single moment, sitting by a river, watching the water move. I remember thinking, the river doesn't stop because it is sad. It doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't wonder if it is too late or too old or too quiet. It just moves, because moving is its nature. And I thought, that is also my nature. Moving, living, flowing, not perfectly, not without difficulty, but onward. And something loosened in my chest that day. Not everything, not all at once, but something real, something that has never fully tightened again. That is what I want for you. Not perfection, not the absence of sadness, but that loosening, that quiet opening, that sense of, oh, I am still here, and there is still something beautiful in being here. So now let me offer you something practical, something gentle, something you can begin today, not tomorrow, not when things are different. Today. The first is this. Each morning, before you do anything else, take 3 slow breaths and say, quietly to yourself, I am here, I am alive, that is enough. Not as a performance, not because it fixes everything, but as an act of returning to this moment, this life, this body that has carried you through so much. The second, find one small thing today that connects you to the living world. Open a window and feel the air. Water a plant. Watch the sky for 5 minutes. Really watch it as if you've never seen it before. Touch the bark of a tree. Sit with your feet on the grass. These are not small things. These are the threads of connection, pulled gently every day. The third, write one sentence, just one, about something you are grateful for. Not a list, not a practice, one sentence. The smaller the better. The light was very beautiful this morning. The tea was exactly right. I heard a bird. One sentence every day becomes a love letter to your own life. The fourth, reach toward one person this week. Not because you need something dramatic, just a note, a message, a call, something that says, I was thinking of you. The reaching itself heals something in us, even before anyone responds. And the fifth, and this is the one I feel most deeply, let yourself be still. Not as waiting, not as emptiness, but as presence. Sit somewhere comfortable and simply be there. Notice your breathing, notice the sounds around you. Don't try to fix or change or improve anything. Just be the witness of this moment. Buddhism calls this practice. But really, it is just coming home to yourself. And you can do it anywhere, in any chair, in any quiet moment, in the middle of any ordinary afternoon. My dear friend, I want you to picture something with me. Imagine waking up one morning, not a special morning, just a Tuesday, and feeling quietly, peacefully, okay? Not ecstatic, not healed of everything, just okay, present, alive. The birds are doing what birds do. The light is doing what light does, and you are doing what you do. Breathing, being, moving through your day with a small, steady warmth somewhere in the center of your chest. No phone needed to produce it. No particular person. No perfect circumstance. Just you, and the morning, and the ancient understanding that you belong here, that you have always belonged here, that the universe made space for you, specifically you, with your specific life and your specific losses and your specific loves. And that space has not disappeared. Loneliness, the real kind, the kind that Buddhism speaks to, is not the absence of people. It is the forgetting of this. The forgetting that you are connected, that you are held, that you are part of something vast and continuing and alive. And the beautiful thing, the thing that makes me want to weep with something like joy, is that you can remember it at any moment, even this one. Even this one. I want to speak softly to you now about something I care about deeply. If you let these 7 thieves stay, if you let the story of too late and too much burden and waiting continue to settle into your days, then the years ahead, which could be years of genuine peace and quiet joy, will pass in a kind of gray half-living. Not suffering exactly, but not living either. And you deserve more than that. You have earned more than that. We've lived long enough to know that time is not infinite, and that is not a reason for fear. It is a reason for tenderness. Tenderness toward yourself, toward the days you have, toward the small, irreplaceable moments that make up a life. The Buddhists say that a human life is rare and precious, not because of what we accomplish, not because of how busy we stay or how much we produce, but simply because to be alive, to be conscious, to be capable of love and wonder and grief, this is something extraordinary. You are something extraordinary. Don't let the quiet thieves tell you otherwise. And so, my dear, dear friend, we arrive at the end of this conversation. Though I hope in some small way it feels more like a beginning. You came here perhaps feeling lonely, perhaps a little lost, perhaps carrying things that felt too heavy to name, and I hope, truly, from whatever part of me writes these words, that something has shifted, even just slightly, even just enough to let a little light in, because that is how it begins, not in dramatic transformation, not in a single conversation, but in small shiftings. In the moment when we look at the light on the wall and feel inexplicably less alone, in the 3 breaths at morning that say, I am here, in the 1 sentence of gratitude, in the hand extended toward another human being. This is the Buddhist path, and it does not require a temple or a teacher or a special cushion to sit on. It requires only what you already have, a heart that is open enough to try, even now, even today. The loneliness you feel is real. I don't want to minimize it, but it is not permanent. It is not your identity, and it is not, in the deepest sense, the truth of your situation. The truth is, you are woven into the fabric of everything that exists. The truth is, wisdom increases with years, not decreases. The truth is, there is beauty available to you in this very moment if you know how to look for it. And now, my friend, you know a little more about how. You are not at the end of something. You are in the middle of something extraordinary. And I, for one, am very glad you are here. If something in this conversation touched you, if a single word landed somewhere it needed to land, please share this with someone you know who might need it. because loneliness shrinks in the presence of being seen. And maybe the most beautiful thing you can do today is help someone else feel less invisible. And if you are not yet part of this community, if you haven't yet pressed that subscribe button, I gently invite you to do that now. Because every week I come back, just like this, and we sit together, we talk about the things that matter. We remind each other that this season of life is not lesser, it is deeper, and we do it together. Thank you for being here with me today, my dear friend. Until next time, breathe slowly, look at the light, and remember, you are not alone. You were never alone, and you never will be. Take good care.